This is a long video, so if you feel like skipping ahead at any time, feel free, but I decided not to split it up and just do it all in one video. What we're making here is a super heavy duty porch swing, and the reason why I say it's super heavy duty is because all of it is made out of 2x2 squared tubing that's 3/16 inch thick or thicker, up to a 1/4 inch thick. And the reason why we're making a heavy duty swing like this is because we have an autistic child in the neighborhood. I say he's a child, but he's an adult now, 27 years old, but very childlike. And he lives on his porch swing and loves it, loves being out there. Unfortunately, he's very rough on them, and he usually goes through about 3 a year, ends up stretching the springs, bending the metal, breaking the springs, and the last swing that he actually had was destroyed within a day. So I had a neighbor come over and asked if we could do something about it, and this is our attempt to make a swing that hopefully he can't break and will last him many years to come. I wanted to try to lay this out on the ground, but I need the pipes to overlap. I wanted them to, the 2x2s to run into each other so that I'd slice them. And then this top piece would be cradled. So what I did is I designed this up in the CAD software and just cut out what I needed as far as getting an alignment on this tube. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and use this as a template and cut those out. Well, something didn't go right. They were looking good, and the angles are all off now. So, I don't know if I calculated this for a 2-inch square tubing or 2.5. I thought it was 2.5, but I bet I did 2. I can correct this, but it's just going to take a little more work. I thought these were really close. And I thought I should have cut a template, but I didn't. So I did cut a template this time. These are probably actually closer than my other ones. I think what I'll have to do is clean that up. I did leave myself a couple extra inches on this, maybe an inch or 2 on this tube, so I'm not worried about it being too short. But I do need to probably clean up those angles. Yeah, that's awfully close. Awfully close. Let me go and check it against this one. Yeah, these are off a little bit. I can clean that up. Wow, that one's really off. So I'll use this template and clean those up. Take a little more work, but it'll work. Let me bring the camera closer. So that was with my paper template, how accurate or inaccurate I was. This one's worse. I'm thinking this might be the back side, because I only did mark one side. That's pretty far off. You can see that angle right here particularly is off. So I think I'll come down maybe a 1/2 inch or so and do it again. Just be fixing some of those angles. There we go. Looks like I may need to clean that one up just a teeny bit. It's dark outside. It's almost 10, so I'm calling it a night, but I wanted to try this out. This is just roughly lined up. I haven't measured it. And I would use my light on my camera, but my camera's almost dead. Much better fit. I don't know if you can see it. The gap right here is tiny. If I move this out of the way, you can see it. It's not like it was. This fits in here perfectly. You know, it's not cut perfectly. There's bits of gaps here and there, but again, I'm not lined up completely right now, and it gives me a little bit of a gap that I can weld into. It'll give me an extra strong weld, which is what I need in this project. So I'll try to get a better shot of this during the day, but you can see how it cradles that receiver hitch. And the reason why I'm doing this receiver hitch is I'm building this heavy duty. It's going to be heavy, and in order to move it around, I want to be able to separate the A-frames on both sides from the center bar, and it'll be heavy enough. There'll be a little cross member here out of 1x1 tubing, 1/8 inch thick. A little bit of a cross member here to do some diagonal bracing on the top bar.
This is 2x2 square tubing at the top, and it is actually 1/4 inch thick. It's very heavy. I did that on purpose. And it goes into receiver hitch, and the reason why I did that is this whole thing would be too heavy to pick up. I'm making it extra heavy duty on purpose, and I wanted to be able to take it apart to be able to move it. So I'm going to put some screws down through the tops of the receiver hitch and into that square tubing, and that's how that will be anchored. I still need to determine the actual width of this, and then when I welded these, I just tacked them on the back side, so they're barely hanging on. And the reason why I did that is I wanted to be able to pitch these legs out at about maybe 3 degrees. I forgot to show it, but I cut off the bottom supports. Yeah, I already have the permanent ones on there, I just haven't welded them permanently. I need to put a cross brace in here, so I'm setting this where it should weld. Now I know where I need to build this brace at. I can see I made a mistake already, but I can correct it. I made this too long. But that's okay. Sorry. I'll just trim it up here to whatever 2 inches down from this corner. And I can round that corner a little bit. It should be fine. I picked up this Portaband. Actually, it was like 1 or 2 days ago, but I haven't tried it out yet. This will be my first cuts. I wanted one for quite a while, and I finally just decided to bite the bullet and pick it up. Not bad for my first cut. I'm right on the line right here, if I can get it to focus. And I came out just a little bit. I should have clipped this corner, but that's okay. I left myself a little room. I drew this line to kind of follow, and I was drifting away from it, so I went toward it a little bit. But for a first cut, I don't think that's bad. I think I'll get used to it. It's not hot, no sparks. This was my second cut. I followed the line, went right through, where's my line? I think I did it on this side. So I went right through the line, right through this weld. It's 3/16 inch thick. And I'm not pushing very hard because I'm at a weird angle. It can actually cut much faster than that. I like it. Okay, now that I have these braces tacked on, I need to set this frame. I need to get these 45-degree angle pieces on correctly. However, this is currently pitched in just a teeny bit. And I want to make sure I get that exactly 45 because it's what's going to hold this vertical and square. I didn't show myself redoing this piece. I cut this off and realized that all my measurements were going to be all thrown off if I didn't recut this metal instead of just, you know, moving things around. So I decided to, instead of doing a bracket on the end, I just did a bracket in between. It'll have one less bolt, but that's okay. I don't mind that as much. Get that to focus. And so what I did is I cut a piece to fit in there, welded it in really nice and tight while I had it down. And then I clipped this corner off with, you guessed it, that, and rounded it. And so I'm about to do that to the second side. Okay, this is to update you on my progress. I welded everything up. I didn't show it because my battery was dead and I had to go put it up my phone on my charger. But I ended up, that's hard to see. Let me go to the other side. I ended up drilling and tapping the metal for these. I ended up cutting off the extra here. I was actually about a 1/4 inch short, but it's too late now. I drilled and tapped all of the holes for this back piece. Just because I'm not sure if it's going to line up or not, I just put a dot here and a dot here just to show me that this has to go on this way. I didn't try it any other direction, but this is the way I drilled the holes. So it might work another way, but I just did that for my sake. I'm in the process of trying to drill a hole all the way through here so that I can bolt it. It doesn't really need it, but I want the added strength. Again, I'm trying to overbuild this on purpose. But this is a 1/4 inch thick. This is a 1/4 inch thick, so by the time you double the walls, I'm drilling through 1 inch of metal. And then I'm also doing it down there. And then I also need to drill 2 holes here that are 1/2 inch thick, and then 2 on the other side. And it's kind of a pain. I'm trying to see if I can find a mag drill. I might wait till Monday and rent one. My bits are getting kind of dull. I think maybe I need to sharpen them. I don't know. One other thing that I did not show, because again my battery was charging, is I lopped the feet off. I basically took the porta band and followed the line that I had created. And I figured what I'll do is I'll go ahead and weld the pads on the feet. And the pads, I actually cut a hole in them so that they could anchor this into the concrete if necessary. I think it'll be heavy enough that they won't need to, but should they need to, they'll have that option. And now that everything's bolted up with that down there, and particularly these up here, it really stiffens this up quite a bit. So I'm hopeful that this will hold up well for him. Well, I've had some ugly welds on this project because I'm having a hard time seeing it on my helmet, but these turned out all right. With all the garbage in my garage and those poles in the background, I know this is kind of hard to see and identify, but I've done a lot of stuff off camera, but it's all the same kind of stuff, drilling holes and welding everything up. So I didn't end up showing that because my battery's been dead most of the time. So I ended up drilling these holes right here. Everything is for 1/2 inch bolts. These were a pain. This is 1 inch of steel that I ended up going through ultimately. I did take it apart, drilled this piece with my drill press on both ends, and then I had to do the other parts by hand. And I found out later I was doing it with a dull 1/2 inch bit. Have a new 1/2 inch bit, and it works great. I tried sharpening it, but I'm not good at it, and it didn't do well. Ended up drilling all these holes and tapping these. Doing the same for this back support. There's 2 bolts here, and the same on the opposite side. These are 1,800 pound hangers off of Amazon. I think they were only 20 bucks for the pair, maybe 25, something like that. I think I will have to get a different carabiner. I thought this was a kind of a screw-on to kind of hold this, keep it from stretching, but it doesn't. It only just keeps this from opening and closing. There is no support from the screwing mechanism here, so I'm afraid that the person that we're going to give this swing to, he would bend these, because he's bent steel thicker than this, springs and stuff like that, and broken them. So I think I'll replace these little pieces, but this should hold on well. The swing is almost done. I'm going to go over to my neighbor's house and see how he's doing on that. This is basically ready to paint at this point. So I think tomorrow I'll probably be painting it. I did drill and tap holes on the side. At a later time I will be putting an arm up here that holds a canopy, a couple of canopy bars. The person I'm giving this to will, the mother will cut and sew a canopy for it. But that's at a later time. I want to get them to swing. That's more important now. I will be cutting a train to go on the top because he loves trains. It'll probably be about 7 inches tall, so hopefully he likes it.
I decided to do a voiceover on this part of the video because there was a motor running in the background and it kind of was just interruptive. What we did here is we made some templates for the back and the bottom of the swing out of metal that could be used with a router bit to, like a following flush trim router bit to basically make identical pieces. And this is just showing that in action. One thing I want to mention now, because I doubt I'll have time toward the end of the video, is that when we went to do the final assembly of this, I ended up losing some of the video. I forgot to put my phone in airplane mode. Somebody called and I missed the actual part where the autistic boy had come back from his day's activities, and like school or something like that. And when he saw the swing, he just absolutely loved it. He doesn't say anything, but he immediately went up and touched the train at the top of the swing and sat down on it. His hands began to shake, and that's how I guess his mom says he normally shows excitement. And he just loved it. You just could tell he loved it. He couldn't say anything, but he loved being out there. He's usually actually quite shy of people that come around. As soon as you come around, he'll usually go inside and then come back out after you leave. And we had a group of people there as we assembled this, maybe up to 5 or 6 people. And he came outside because he wanted to be part of it. So it was a great experience. I'm glad I had the opportunity to help him out. And if you have any questions, let me know. But I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and try to put links to the templates that you see us using here in case you want to make your own swing. I would build a mock-up of it first and see if it's meet your needs. Right at the very back of the seat, I would actually put just a little bit more curve in there. Perhaps I'll put a corrected file out there. Anyway, enjoy.
I didn't know if you took a break today, because you've been going on it and I've been going on them, and I took a break yesterday for my son's birthday.
Yeah, I didn't take a break today. I was like, well, I gotta get this done. I was like, I'm gonna try to go out of town this weekend. So I'm just trying to get it done.
You guys gonna go camping?
Yeah, Crystal has to work, so I'm gonna take the kids.
That sure looks nice though with those rounded edges.
It makes a difference. Like, I was just feeling it a minute ago, like that feels so much better.
And even the mock-up.
Yeah, than that one. And just like I used the back edge on this one and that one, and I forgot to do them on the rest. So I gotta flip it over and do it. Just so if he puts his fingers down there.
Yeah, he'll learn real fast not to do that if that's the case.
If they're sharp.
Yeah.
Lay his fingers a little bit. Yeah, Mike came over earlier. I said, "Come help me stand." He's like, "All right."
Yeah, I think the screws and glue will really help that.
Yeah.
That looks nice. It looks smooth.
So you feel the curvature of it. It feels good.
Yeah.
So
My hands are black though if I touch it too much.
I'm gonna sand it again anyway.
Before I forget, to make this so I could use the drill press, I needed some support. I have this A-frame I haven't painted. In fact, I've never painted the welding table either. It's not really necessary in Utah, but anyway, I just put this arm on here, threw a couple of tacks on the bottom, level, and I just rest the pieces on here, drill the holes, flip them around. It's been great. When you're all done, because I only have 2 tacks down there, I can roll it towards the tacks and break it off. But otherwise, before doing that, I could have easily put all my weight on that. So now I just got to grind off those tacks, but sure is a lot easier doing that than trying to support that bar by myself, or even my daughter for that fact. She was having a hard time holding those bars up. I thought it would be easier for her, but it wasn't. So down here in the corner, I picked up a tow chain, 20-foot tow chain. That was cheaper than buying chain by the foot. And kudos to Home Depot, they gave me $25 off because this is a charity thing. And so, when in reality I bought, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6 of these. Yeah, 6 of them. And these are like 1,500 pounds capacity each. I got that tow chain, that was 25 bucks, but they gave me 25 bucks off. So in reality I paid about half, $25 for what was normally $50. I'm going to go ahead and try to hang this and level it a little bit. I'll see if I can get this camera back far enough to show you what I'm doing. And then the bench will go on top of that down there, which has 3 pieces cut that conform to the seat. It'll, 1, reinforce the seat, but 2, I'll tack it on, pull the bench off, do full welds, and this will take the brunt of the force. Okay, let me show you what I'm thinking. Right now I have a back slope on this. This obviously is the front of the swing because I have the support bars all around the bottom, on the back and the sides. That's probably too much of a slope on the front, but I want to also show something I did here. If you look carefully enough, you'll notice that is not vertical. That's on purpose. I made these mounts about 3 inches wider total than the total width of those, and that was to give it just a little bit of an angle so that if he starts rocking on it, it would hopefully swing back and center itself. That was the plan there. I may lower this just a little bit, so I'll need a little bit more chain. This is just a test to kind of get an idea of the length. Once the chair comes over, I'll kind of get a good idea of the actual length that I need. And we're getting close. This is actually the kind of the fun part. That actually feels really good level, but the seat is going to add a few inches to it, so I will have to drop it a few links. I think what I'll do is I'll cut the chain somewhere in the middle, and then when we're all done, I don't know, I'll figure it out. I'll cut the chain somewhere in the middle. Kind of hate to waste that much chain, but I can't think of anything else that I'll use it for anyway. I don't have enough battery power to record all this, but I'm cutting out a train that's 4 feet long and about 7 inches tall.
Oh, I just want to be flat. So we'll just drill one,
Yeah, let's do one.
and then we'll
for
set
now.
it.
Yeah,
You're there?
yeah, that's good.
Probably pull it off. Okay.
I'll let you do that work because my hands are a little bit dirty.
Oh yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Down the driveway, just blow the garage out.
Yeah.
That doubles the weight of the bench.
A little bit.
Let's blow that off.
Yeah, we can set it down on the floor, it'll be fine.
Okay. Now you wanted
What do we say, 2.5 or 2?
for what?
In center,
In center?
on the inside, what do we say? I think that looks good right there, actually.
Yeah. We wanted to span that joint.
Halfway over the tube, and the
Oh,
joint.
but I was thinking this way.
Well, it runs down right here. They're hidden on the
So,
outside.
okay, so is that about?
I think, honestly, looking at it, that looks really good just like that. So we may want to get a tape for one side.
In this section of the video, we are actually at the home of the recipient and doing the final assembly of the swing. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, my phone was not put in airplane mode and somebody had called and it stopped recording. And so we missed the final portions of the assembly, and in addition, the recipient, who I'll call Jimmy, that's not his real name, he showed up from school or his day's activities, and he saw the swing as I'd mentioned earlier and loved it. And I wouldn't have shown that portion in this video just for the sake of his privacy, but it would have been nice to have, just because I would have liked to have seen it again. It was great to have him come over, and you could just tell he loved the swing. Anyway, shortly we're going to have somebody testing the swing. He's going to be swinging very high on it, I guess you could say. And the reason for doing that was to test it, to see if it would slide, to see if we needed to anchor it into the concrete. For now, we decided not to anchor it into the concrete, and in the future we can anchor it in the concrete if necessary, but we doubt he'll be swinging as high as this.
If it becomes an issue.
Special gets it going.